It is midnight. That means it is time to masturbate my 3DS. Those of you who own a 3DS know exactly what I'm talking about, I'm sure. Those that don't, yeah, you do this. Every time the day changes, you do this. I'll talk all about that, but first, hi YouTube! How you doing? Haven't shown my face around here since, what, the Bite Jacker video? So a lot of you probably haven't ever seen me before. Yeah, I'm Zeta. I'm wearing glasses. Some of you that even seen me before probably haven't seen that. I've only worn them on camera during, like, one stream. Anyway, yeah, I wear glasses, and I'm Zeta, and I'm the guy that plays all the shitty games that I make you watch, and you're all like, whoa, look at him playing the shitty games, and I'm like, shut up. They suck, I know. Anyway. Yeah, I just completely lost my train of thought on that subject, so let's go back to the 3DS. Actually, first, let's talk about something DS-related that isn't the 3DS. The game Ghost Trick. I just spent, like, the past few days playing it, and it pretty much blew my mind. It's amazing. Really fun gameplay. Kind of gets a little repetitive, and there's one level that's really horrible. But otherwise, really fun gameplay. Great music. Probably one of the best games I've played since Okami, especially in the story, because it's all about character development and progressing mystery. You shouldn't really look up anything but the trailer, or you're going to spoil it. But I'll give you the gist of it, everything you learn in like 10 minutes of gameplay. Basically, you're dead. You start out as a ghost, and you find out you have ghost powers that let you hop from object to object and interact with them, like opening things, rolling balls around, stuff like that. And you can go back in time 4 minutes before a death, but not your own, to, like, interact with objects to try and save their life. And that's really all you learn in the first 10 minutes, so that's all I'm going to say. But basically, you're trying to find out who you are throughout the game, and the mystery just unfurls as you go along, and it's just great. The ending especially was pretty nice, although I kind of called it like a few hours before it happened. Anyway, yeah, it's really good, and you all should buy it 7 times. At least 7. If you buy it 6 times, you're kind of a douche, because it's just that good. At least I thought it was that good. Like, I linked a friend to it, and they played it, and they just thought it was... Like, they spent 2 entire days doing nothing but playing the game, because they loved it too. Anyway, yeah, you should play it if you have any form of DS, or the ability to play such games. 3DS, right, let's get on to the main attraction of this video. This is the 3DS. I can't really show it to you because it's way over here, and if I open it up, it'll be like a blinding light. But I will talk about it. I will get on to why I was masturbating it in a minute. But let's talk about everything that's on here. Like, after the update you get, they put a video on here by the band OK Go that's in 3D. It's alright, I guess. It gives a decent show of the video. There's the... yeah, I'm just gonna go through the icons here and talk about everything. But before I do that, there's some icons up top. There's a brightness setting and like a little button to change how big the icons you're looking at are. There's a note-taking app, which is the only thing you can have open when a game is minimized, and I'll get onto that in a minute. There's the friends list. There's the notifications list, which are basically notifications from your DS, or even like online notifications from games. Any developer can contact you through your 3DS unless you say not to. So I have Street Fighter 4, and they actually sent me a notification saying thanks for buying it and stuff. And then there's a button for the browser, which doesn't work yet because it's not here. They're gonna release it in May or something. WiiWare or the online shop isn't here either. So there's, other than that 3D movie, there are 11 buttons here that I have to go over. And before I do that, everybody, the main gimmick of the 3DS is the 3D. Everybody's probably wondering, is it good? Yeah, it's pretty decent. Like, it certainly looks 3D. There are some issues, however, and that became very obvious with Super Monkey Ball, which I also got. And that is that if you're playing a game where things are moving towards you, the closer they get to the camera, the more double vision-y they go. So if you have 3D all the way on, things close to the camera, it's like if you're looking at your monitor and you have your hand right here, you'll notice that you see two versions of it. It's like that, except right in your face. It's kind of annoying, but you can't really do anything about it, but you get used to it after a while. You can fix it by turning the slider of the 3D down to almost off, and then they're aligned, but then the rest of the world doesn't look as 3D, so you kind of have to deal with one or the other. Anyway, if you ignore that one problem, the 3D looks really nice. Doesn't really add anything to gameplay, of course, but it's really nice. So, the buttons here. Starting with the most useless. There's the system settings buttons. Or button. It's the system settings. There's health and safety information. It's health and safety information. Completely worthless. There's the activity log, which kind of tells you how many games you've played and how many steps you've taken. More on steps later. There's Nintendo 3DS Sound, which I think is the MP3 player. I have a phone for my MP3s, so I don't really need this. But I did notice one thing, and that's when you open it, there's a little like sound wave, and when you talk, it moves. And I kind of freaked out the first time I did this because the parakeets on the screen listen to you. So like, shut the hell up! Just a second. Yeah, they repeat you. It's like the first time I did that, I sung this weird song, and I wish I could remember it because it was amazing. But they repeated it afterwards, and I was like, what the hell just happened? It freaked me out. Anyway, you can record and edit sounds here. I don't think they have any use except that you can activate Street Pass, which is one of the features of the DS, which lets you like share things with DSs that are also in sleep mode. Like when you close your DS like this, it's in sleep mode. That's nothing new. But when it's in sleep mode, Street Pass, if you have it enabled, can send people sound files or Miis and stuff like that. More on that later. Okay, there's the altered, or I always say altered reality, but it's augmented reality games. That uses these, which are these cards here that come with your DS. You use this one on most occasions, but you just like slap that down on a table and then you point your cameras at it and things pop up into the world around you, which isn't really that good, to be honest. Every single one of the AR games, buttons games sucked. There's one where you like aim around shooting at targets on the desk. There's one where you like lean it down and you fish. There's a few others you can buy with these coins. More on coins later. But really, all of them were horrible. Like, the camera is too grainy, and everything that's being projected onto the world is not grainy at all, so it clashes a whole lot. And when you move the camera too fast, the cards like going with the world, but everything on the card's kind of jerky. I did not like anything about the AR games. However, one of the other buttons that is not included on that one is a game called Face Raiders. This, unlike all of the other AR games, is amazing. Basically, you go in here and you take a picture of your face, or any other face for that matter. You just line up the eyes and mouth, and then it pops out into a flying, like, helicopter helmet, and it flies around, and you have to shoot it in the face with balls. So, unlike trying to look at a table and specifically, you're, like, looking around the room trying to shoot your own face, or whoever's face you're shooting at. And it makes, like, expressions and everything, and that's actually really fun. It, like, busts through fake walls that are supposed to be in your wall. It still does the jerky thing, but it doesn't look that bad in that case, and it's actually fun, unlike all the other AR games were to me. So that I can forgive. I spent a lot more time with Face Raiders than I did with the other AR games, so that was nice. Let's see. There's the download play button, which if you have a game that supports it, you can send it to another 3DS and play the game with them. That still exists. I don't know if it works with DS games. I would assume so, but I have not tried it because I do not have friends. At least not close ones. Not close ones with DSs anyway. Anyway, that leaves... There's 4 more buttons. One of them is actually the game you have in your console, so I'll skip over that one. That leaves 3 more. The first one I will go over is the camera. As I said before, the camera is grainy. It's actually really bad webcam quality. It does take 3D pictures, and the 3D pictures look pretty 3D. But they're so bad quality that it's just really it's sad. They work. They'll show off some things as long as you have good lighting and proper focus or distance from the camera. They'll show off things well enough, but it's just so grainy and low quality that I wish it had been better. I've actually taken a bunch of pictures of my house, and I will post a link to those. Some of them, I will warn, will be probably the creepiest pictures you've ever seen in your life. And those of you without a 3DS can still look at them, just like drag them into Paint. You'll only see one frame of them, but you can still look at my house if you want to. It's some of the creepiest shit in the world. But yeah, those of you with 3DS, just take out your SD card, put them on there, and you can view them on your 3DS. That's pretty much it for the camera. Like, you can do some weird shit like draw on it to make 3D, you know, like magic eye pictures, except without the magic eye part, it just shows up on top of whatever picture you drew on. That's kind of nice. And like the camera, I love the camera. I will admit, I love this camera. I just wish it was a better quality camera. But considering it's like the first affordable 3D camera, I can't really complain. Those of you not familiar with the setup, there's an analog stick, and right here there's select, start, and home, and the power button is over here to make you press it on accident and piss yourself off. Anyway, the home button goes back to the sort of operating system where you can choose all this shit. And there's one gripe I have with that. When you use the home button, and that's like the only way to get out of something basically, to go back to the operating system, it minimizes it so that you can resume it later, which is kind of cool, except that other than the note-taking app, basically, there's nothing you can do when it's minimized, and if you try to open something else, it will just pop up and say, do you want to close the previously opened program? And you have to say yes if you want to do anything else. So it's like, why don't you just do it automatically? Because every time you want to open something else or go to a different program, it's going to ask you, or with that pop-up, and you're going to have to press OK, and it's kind of annoying. Minor gripe, though. So, there's two more buttons. One is the Me Maker, which is almost identical to the Me Maker on the Wii. In fact, I think it is identical. I don't think there's anything different about it at all, except you can use the stylus on this one, which doesn't really do anything different. It's Mii's. It's the same shit. I recreated my Wii Me on here really easily. It's so completely the same. I also made one other. I was going to make Tar-chan, but it just turned out to look like some blonde guy, so I didn't. And then there's one more thing, the Me Plaza, which is kind of a mini game. But before I go into that, back to why I was masturbating my DS. It's the last function of the DS that makes any difference at all. Basically, it's got a pedometer in it, but it's the next Pocket Pikachu. When you're walking, they expect you to walk with your DS, and you get, it counts your steps. And each day, you can get 10 play coins from doing these crap. Like, 100 steps is 1 play coin, so once you hit 1,000, it's maxed out for the day. And it keeps track of each day, so if you go back to a day you've already done, it's still gonna have 1,000 there or more. So you have to go to different days if you're gonna cheat. Which I have done, I must admit, because it's bullshit what they make you do with these. At least if you don't have a lot of friends with Mii's. With 3DSs anyway. So, like, these play coins, they're kind of a universal currency. You can get up to 10 for each calendar day by doing this 1,000 times, which is why I was masturbating my freaking DS. I'm only up to... wait, no, that's my coins. 378 so far, that you've been watching me do here. And these coins can be spent on whatever game developers want you to. Like in Super Street Fighter 4, which, by the way, is a great port. Like, I don't even like fighting games, and I'm not that big of a fan of Street Fighter, but this is actually fun, and I think I might actually play this just because they made it more accessible to people who suck. People who don't suck will probably not care. Like, they'll probably think that's stupid. But it comes with all the characters from Super Street Fighter 4, as well as 2 alternate costumes per character. And the analog nub actually works really, really well for pulling off moves. Anyway, before I go on to the last bit of Street Fighter, back to play coins. Street Fighter has an extra thing that aren't in the other versions, which are like trophies. And by playing the game or spending, I think, 1 or 2 coins for 200 points, you can buy trophies for 200 points. And when your Wii, or your Mii, I said Wii, when your 3DS is in sleep mode like this with Super Street Fighter on, if any other 3DSs within range have Super Street Fighter and are in sleep mode, kind of a specific thing there, but if they are, it will actually battle these trophies with other people's trophies for winning trophies. Kind of pointless, but that's one of the only uses for play coins at the moment. The other uses for play coins, as I mentioned before, the augmented reality games, when you go through the tutorial thing, they have more games to unlock that you can buy for play coins. And then there is this last little icon here, Mii Plaza. Mii Plaza is kind of a mini game. It's like an RPG, in that your first created Mii gets kidnapped, and you have to hire other people's Miis to go through these rooms defeating ghosts and shit. The only problem is the only way to get other people's Miis is through Street Pass. So you have to come into contact with other people's Street Pass enabled, sleep-moded 3DSs in the wild to get these Miis to show up in your Plaza gate. Hire them to go into the dungeon and fight for you. There's a bigger problem. They only do it once. They go through, like, attack a few times, and that's it. They disappear into the ether, and then you have to get other Miis. Nintendo wasn't completely retarded, however, and they allowed you to hire Miis based on play coins. You can spend 2 coins to hire this weird cat instead of a Mii, and the cat will go through and fight their one time for you. As you can imagine, however, this goes through play coins really fucking fast, so that 10 coin limit a day will get used up pretty much immediately in one room. So you have to cheat and set your time to a day you haven't been on and masturbate your DS for an hour. Yeah. Let me take a break here. Mayonnaise jars, by the way. Best glasses in the world. So, this game gets harder, I hear. I haven't gotten that far in it. I hear, like, ghosts get colored shields. And then you need a Mii and or have hired a cat in that color. So any cats you've hired previously or any Miis you've sent through without that color, the color on Miis, by the way, is the favorite color. So say a ghost had a yellow shield, you'd have to find someone with a favorite color yellow to beat that shield. Everyone who goes in that isn't yellow just doesn't do anything and gets used up and is worthless. So yeah, that's kind of a coin sink there. And that's everything. Oh yeah, right. For going through this Mii Plaza game, you get hats that you can put on your Mii, except they only show up in Mii Plaza, so they're not useful at all. you don't see them in the Mii Creator or anything like that, so it's like, why the fuck even bother? Likewise, actually, I think there's something else I was gonna say, but I forgot what it was. Something about hats. Oh right, the augmented reality games. The other cards, you can like put them on the table to show off Mario or Kirby, and I think if you're on the camera and you're like, or the augmented reality game and they're letting your Mii run around, you can put a card down and they'll get that hat on them or something. But it's like, why bother? It's dumb. I don't like augmented reality games at all except for the face shooting one. So that is all the buttons that currently exist. So yeah, to recap, there's the MP3 player / sound recorder, the 3D movie, the shitty augmented reality games, the activity log, the download play like it was on DS, settings, health and safety information, the Mii Creator, the weird Mii Plaza RPG, the camera, of course, and then your game that you have in. As for games, I have Super Monkey Ball and Street Fighter 4, as I said before. Super Monkey Ball is not that good. It probably is if you've never played Super Monkey Ball, but I have like 5 times, so it's not that good. It really isn't. It looks good with 3D. I only got it because Ashen said the 3D was good. It was the best use of 3D he'd said he'd seen. And it is. It looks pretty nice in 3D. But it's not that fun. it's Super Monkey Ball. Again. Nothing special about it this time. You can use the tilt controls, but if you do that, you can't have the 3D on because it looks like shit. Basically, like I'm sure you've heard before, with a 3D, if you're holding it like this, it's perfect. It's not 3D anymore. 3D, not 3D anymore. 3D, not 3D anymore. 3D. But you do have a lot of leeway this way. It goes all the way from here down to there, and you can still see it in 3D that way. But you can't turn it this way at all. Just down and up. It's not, I haven't found anything awkward about that myself. It's pretty comfortable, but it is kind of annoying when it like just tilts slightly to the side and it goes off kilter. I've actually found it best a little further away, because if you hold it too close, it starts to fuck with your eyes. I haven't played it long enough to get headaches, but I hear people get headaches after like 45 minutes to an hour. It's possible. Like, it was fucking with my eyes a little when I started, but I think I got used to it a bit. Super Street Fighter 4, as I was saying, really fun. If you're not a fan of fighters, you might not like it, but if you want to play a fighter that you kind of suck at and you don't really have the time to get good at it yet, at least not right away, this actually helps a lot. There's two modes, and they both use the touchscreen. In Pro mode, it's exactly like it is on other consoles, like if you were using a gamepad, except the touchscreen has 4 extra buttons you could set. Like, I believe, like on both the console versions and this, you can set any button to whatever you want, like punch, 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 or stuff like that, like instant grab or a taunt. On this, you can do that too, but the touchscreen is divided into 4 buttons that you can do as well. However, it also has a light mode. In light mode, you don't do that. The buttons are all their normal buttons, and you can't set them to anything. But on the touchscreen, 2 of the buttons are moves from your particular character, like on Ryu, I think it's that spinning kick that I can't say the name of, like Tetsukuma, whatever. And the other one is Hadouken. So yeah, people can be playing Street Fighter like this. Hadouken! 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 It's gonna open up for spamming, but what can you do? The other 2 buttons are Instant Ultra and Instant Super for every single character. So if you've got your Super or Revenge gauge up, you can just tap the screen. Shut up. You can just tap the screen and it'll immediately happen. Kind of hard for a left-handed person if you're trying to use a stylus. The buttons are actually big enough that you can just hit it with your finger and it works most of the time. Not always though. But yeah, I'm left-handed, so I'd have to hold the... I'd literally have to let go of the analog to press it if I was going to do it that way. So I have to just mash it with my thumb. But like I was saying, the analog works really, really well. Probably not as well as an arcade stick, but a lot better than a D-pad would, and probably better than the analogs on console controls. But I can perform moves really well, and I haven't played Street Fighter since 2 back in the fucking 90s. So yeah, those of you, I know there's going to be Street Fighter, like, huge fans that hate light mode. Online matches, you can actually set the control mode to same. So if you're using Pro mode, no light mode users are going to face off against you, so you don't have to worry about that. Only light mode users, or people who want to use light mode, have to worry about it, because you can just set it to whatever. But, like I said, if you play online matches against people you don't know, they're going to just literally be mashing their D-pad. They're probably going to cheat with Guile, actually, because Guile is super overpowered with the D-pad, because you can throw off a Sonic Boom, and there's no lag. You don't have to charge it up. Which, that's the only complaint that I can see from this touchscreen use shit, at least from my point of view. I'm not a big fan, like I said. There's probably more. But yeah, that's probably pretty cheap for spammers. Otherwise, I like it myself, because I suck really bad at fighting games. And I'm not a big fan of fighting games that aren't named Super Smash Brothers. Anyway, that's the 3DS in a nutshell. I think I've gone over everything. Yeah, pretty much. So, to recap, augmented reality sucks, Face Raiders doesn't suck. The camera sucks, but 3D pictures don't really suck. I'm pretty sure people will make high-quality 3D pictures that work on the 3DS soon, using things that aren't this camera. And I'm looking forward to that. That's going to be awesome. The camera is a little grainy. It works, though. It's kind of cool. And once it can record video, maybe I'll forgive it a little bit. But that's going to need an update, if they allow it at all. Super Street Fighter 4, awesome. Super Monkey Ball, Super Monkey Ball, but I've already played it before, so it's boring if you played it. Kind of good if you haven't. The 3DS in general, should you buy it? Probably not right now unless you really want Super Street Fighter 4, which is a good game. If you like fighters, I would say definitely give it a try, because it's only $40. It's got all the characters, it's got alternate costumes, it's got basically everything that you'd pay like $100 for on the console versions. It's just in a smaller version, handheld. But it is handheld, you can take it everywhere, and it's in 3D. So, that, like, I think the pros of Super Street Fighter 4 3D outweigh the cons for those of you who like Super Street Fighter. But if you already own it, you might not want to buy it again. If you're not into that right now, I'd say maybe wait for other games, because there's really not much else to play right now. As for whether it's worth $250, that's up to you. Do you like 3D games? Do you want to or make 3D pictures? Once good games come out, it probably will be. Like, I already like Super Street Fighter 4, and I've been looking forward to 3D, Zelda, and Star Fox for a long time. So yeah, it's about to get really good, I think. So I am not disappointed with my purchase. I would not trade in my DS for it. At least not at the prices Walmart are giving for DS's trade-ins. So I didn't trade in mine. Especially not if you have a flash cart. That's basically it. I'm gonna go back to masturbating my DS until I have 1,000 fucking steps on here. Yeah, I think that's all I really wanted to say. Yep. So, see you later. That's the DS in a nutshell. And remember, whether you have a 3DS or a DS, buy Ghost Trick 7 times. 7 times.